Howdy, 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 and more howdy to you. Welcome to the Lady Walker Show. I am Lady Walker, and we have a Jim Dandy of a show in store for you. You all, I have two lovely women who are here, and they are going to share a little bit of information about who they are and what they are doing. Now, they are gifted storytellers, rappers. Yes, you heard me right, rappers. And they have written 3 books together. One is entitled Y'all Twins, and the next one, which is Switch and Our Josephine. So, beloved, without further ado, welcome to the show, the King Twins, Katherine and Margaret.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to meet you too. But now I know Katherine and Margaret.
Maybe.
Kat and maybe. Oh, y'all may be tricking me, huh?
Yeah, there's 3 things you have to know about identical twins. The first one is, of course, one is always older than the other.
Okay.
And that would be me.
Oh, okay. That's one thing.
The second thing is, one is usually dominant over the other, and that would be me.
Okay, gotcha.
But the third one is, you have to look really, really closely at identical twins, but one is usually a little more attractive than the other. That would be me.
Yeah. That would be Margaret. Okay, gotcha. That's good. That's good. Okay. Before we started taping, I learned some interesting things about you too, and you got information out there on your website, out there on YouTube, and it's some interesting stuff. But let's talk about who you two are for right now, and then we are going to talk about each one of the books that you have written together, as well as how you became a rapper.
Oh, well, that's an interesting story, how we became a rapper.
Okay.
We lived together. And we were sitting in our living room, and Margaret was flipping through the channels, and she flipped right through the rapping channel. And I said, no, go back to the rapping channel. And she said, okay. And I said, what do you notice about the rappers? And she says, I don't know where you're going with this. And I said, you don't have to carry a tune to rap.
Great.
And you don't.
And we can't.
We can't. We can't sing a note. But we decided if we could point and rhyme, we could rap.
If you can point.
Whatever.
Okay, you can rap.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and it's out there on YouTube, and we are going to get that information later on. Mm-hmm. And you two are going to rap towards the end of the show.
We are.
That is great, great, great. Okay, identical twins. You all are from Oxford, Mississippi, but you were born in Vicksburg.
Vicksburg.
That's correct.
And lived there just a short period of time.
Well, Mom went home to have her babies.
And her home was Vicksburg.
And her home was Vicksburg. And then within a year's time, we moved to Oxford. So she just went home to Vicksburg to have her babies. But we've lived in Oxford 65 years.
So it's you, 2 brothers, and another sister, or 3 brothers?
There's 5 children in all. My mother had our brother in June 1947. They celebrated their anniversary in September of that same year, and we came in May of the next year.
Wow, that's close.
So Mother had 3 children in 1 year.
And one of them was Kat.
One of them was me.
Wait a minute, hold it.
Enough said.
One? But what about you?
She was the good twin. I claim to be the good twin, but I'm the only one who will ever say that.
Okay, you are the good twin, and
I'm the better best one.
Oh, the better best one.
Good, better, best.
Did your parents ever have any trouble trying to figure out who was who?
They said they knew exactly who we were when we were born, that we looked different and our personalities were different. So they never had a problem. They didn't have to tag us or put a ribbon on us or anything.
Oh, they didn't? But when you went to school, what happened?
Oh, my.
The first day of first grade, we switched classes.
The first day?
Because they separated us for the first time in our lives. So we were in 2 different classrooms, and at recess, we played together at recess. I said, Margaret, I want to see what your classroom looks like, and she wanted to see what my classroom looked like. So at recess, we switched classes, and Got to know each other's teacher and that. And lunchtime, I told her I didn't like her classroom because her teacher had her on front and center.
Oh.
And I like to be hiding in the back. So we switched back at lunch. So we switched first day of first grade, and honestly, never looked back.
Never.
We've been switching.
Didn't do it again?
Oh no, we never looked back. We started switching all the time, as many times as we could.
So when you enter into college, both of you majored in the same field?
Education, mathematics education and history education. Margaret did not pursue hers, and I've been teaching mathematics for 43 and a half years.
That is great, mathematics.
She's the smart one.
Oh,
she got the
really?
math side of our brain. But what we would do in high school is, and grammar school is, she would do all the math homework.
And she would do my history.
In English.
Really?
In English.
Because y'all had some of the same.
Why would she have to think up an answer to a history question if I already knew it?
What?
So we had the same thing. So that's what we, when it's a good thing and it's a gift that God gave you, you know, you use it.
Well, y'all
did.
had an interesting neighbor.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, so who was that interesting neighbor?
Well, his name was William Faulkner, and he loved to exercise his horse or mule-drawn buggy past our house, and we would catch a ride on the back of it, steal a ride to the corner, jump off and come home, and thinking he didn't know that there was extra weight on it. Well, one day he pointed a finger at us like, I saw y'all, I know you're doing this, and stopped by our house that next Saturday, and we were raking leaves, and Daddy went to the curb to greet him. So we just sat on the front porch, and he pointed at each one of us, and Daddy told him exactly who we were, and figured that William Faulkner was telling off on us, but he didn't.
Well, hold that story right there, and we are going to come back and pick it up.
Okay.
And continue along this pathway of Katherine and Margaret King.
Okay.
All right, beloved, we will be right back. Tonight's guests are the King twins, Margaret and Katherine King. For books purchased, go to either y'alltwins.com, theespublishing.com, southernstories.com, amazon.com, or visit Square Books in Oxford, Mississippi, or call 662-832-7546. Welcome back, beloved. My guests tonight are the King twins, Katherine and Margaret King. Okay, before we went on break, you were telling us about William Faulkner, one of your neighbors.
That's
growing
right.
up.
Well, Daddy finally came over and said, y'all don't bother him anymore. So we thought he told off on us, and well, who is he? And Daddy said, he's William Faulkner. Well, it didn't mean anything to us. And I just blurted out, oh no, sir, we won't bother him anymore. So Daddy knew we were bothering him. But he came by the next week and told us his name was William. And my brother's name is William, but we called him Bill. So he said, well, my name is William. And Bill said, well, my name is William. And William Faulkner says, well, my real name is Bill. That's what people call me. And my brother said, well, my name is Bill. And so they had some rapport going, but with their names and all. So we just had such an interesting relationship with him as a child. And of course, he was a grown man.
Oh, okay.
We met him, I guess we were probably a 10 or 11. We encountered him on the square in Oxford one day, and I'm the tomboy, and Margaret's more the girly girl. And so I said, Margaret, here comes, what's his name? And I said, let's see if we can fool him this time, because he always could tell which is which. And I said, here, you take my marble and you hold it. And she said, what's it for? I said, just follow me. So William Faulkner approached us and we spoke to him, and I said, I bet you can't tell which is which today. And he says, well, I bet I can. And I said, I've got a marble, and I made Margaret produce the marble. I said, got a marble that we'll bet. What have you got to bet with? And he reached in his breeches and he pulled out a penny. And I looked at it and I said, well, that's not quite as valuable as my marble, but it'll do. So he started getting us talking, which is how he could tell us apart. So finally
he said, let me start with a question. How old are y'all now? And Kat blurted out, you always ask us how old we are. How old are you? And I gasped and I said, you can't ask grown-ups how old they are. Oh, Mr. Faulkner, don't tell my daddy we ask you how old. So we just had such a wonderful, kind of fun relationship with him.
And after that was said, he patted my head and he said, well, Katherine, I believe that's my marble.
Oh, wow.
He took the marble and he walked off with my marble.
He never told your dad, right?
Well, you'll have to read the rest of the story.
Oh, yeah. Now let's get into the 3 books. Let's talk briefly about each one. Well, the very first book you wrote was
Y'all Twins.
Y'all Twins. And where did that title come from? And what is it about? Just a little bit.
Well, Y'all Twins is the first question people ask us when they see us.
That is, huh?
They do.
That is so
they'll
obvious.
walk up to us and they'll do this, and then finally they'll just say, y'all twins? So that's the first question.
No, we are not twins.
We say that a lot.
Oh, really?
That's the first question they ask us. We named the book, and then we went to Walmart, and this elderly man is walking towards us doing this, and he stops us and he said, are y'all twins? So we knew right then that we had named the book correctly. So that's our first book, and it's got 2 stories with William Faulkner in it, but basically it's funny stories growing up as identical twins and getting away with everything we could get away with. Why?
Because we could and we did.
Okay. Okay.
The second book is Which is Which, and I'll let you
Which is the second question people ask us.
Okay.
Y'all twins. Well, which is which? And it doesn't make any difference because you're not going to know which is which once we walk away and come back or whatever.
Exactly.
But that's the second question that people ask us. And we have 2 William Faulkner stories in that book and 2 in the first. And so it's just funny stories about rascals, kind of like Lucy and Ethel. She's Lucy and I'm Ethel. And what she got us into, we had to figure out how to get out of, and we got a whipping every day.
So, Kat, you were the one who was getting you 2 in trouble.
Oh, yes.
So you never did do anything to...
No, I just followed.
She was not, not exactly that innocent.
She was she was a dominant twin, and I just followed. And, we just got in trouble every day. And our older brother, Bill, would tell Mother just enough of what we'd been doing to make Mother suspicious. And she would delve into what we'd been doing, and we were in trouble.
We got a whipping every night of our life.
Really?
We did.
So how do y'all feel about, nowadays, since you mentioned you got a whipping every day, I guess, what do y'all feel about?
All I can say is it did us good.
It didn't kill you.
It didn't kill us. It did us good. And, everybody has to make that personal decision.
Right, because
I don't believe
need it.
I don't believe in hitting. It stopped with us.
Our generation.
Our generation, we didn't continue that.
Really?
So,
because how many children do you have? I know they are adults
2.
now. 2. And you have 2. 2. And then grandkids?
10.
10 grandkids and
2 grandchildren.
2. Now that's still sort of a large family.
It is a large family at Christmas and Thanksgiving.
I know, for real.
And brothers and sisters and nieces
birthdays and all of that.
It's wonderful. Our family is our life.
That is so great.
It
so
is.
how do they respond to, we are going to talk about Josephine on the next book, on the next segment.
Okay.
So how do your family feel about the books that you have written?
Well, we initially wrote the books because our children, we would tell the stories to them when they were children, and they loved the stories. Mama, tell us about this one again or that one again. And so finally they asked us to write the stories down so that they could continue telling the stories to their children and grandchildren.
I think they thought we were going to,
Yeah,
Not
pass
really.
on real quick.
So we wrote these books, and we finally decided to go back in our minds and our time that these happened and put the dialogue back into it.
Well, did you keep a journal along the way to be able to pull out some of the information to write the books?
We didn't, but we had two brains working on it.
Okay.
And Kat would remember the stories in her best light, and then I knew the stories as they were. So we had a little bit of compromise going because it wasn't exactly the way Kat would tell it because it made her look way too good. It just wasn't happening.
Well, how
that
did
way.
how did it make you look at this? If the story made Kat look way too good?
Well, we compromised, and pretty much the stories were the way I remembered them because that's pretty much the way they happened. Kat said, I didn't do that. I said, oh yeah, you did. So, but they're wonderful true stories about our childhood.
Funny. If you read a story a night, you'll go to bed laughing and you'll wake up happy.
Oh, that is so good.
We went Jaybird till we were 10 years old, if you know what Jaybird is. And Mother called us in and said, you have to put on a training bra. And we looked at each other and said, what's it going to train? Kat had it on backwards. It was training her shoulder bones back there. So,
Well, it sounds like a funny book. Oh,
They
funny
are.
books. Okay.
They are.
Well, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we are going to let you talk briefly about our Josephine, your next
wonderful,
book.
wonderful.
All right. Well, beloved, we will be right back. Tonight's guests are the King twins, Margaret and Katherine King. For books purchased, go to either y'alltwins.com, thesepublishing.com, southernstories.com, amazon.com, or visit Square Books in Oxford, Mississippi, or call 662-832-7546. Welcome back, beloved. My guests tonight are the lovely, 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 lovely King twins. King twins.
Two of us.
Yes, Margaret, and Katherine. Okay, the King twins. All right, now let's get into our Josephine.
Josephine is our passion now. When we were 9 years old, we were shipped off to Vicksburg, Mississippi with a 1 week stay with our grandmother and great-grandmother. And we met our first African-American, Josephine Harris, the first relationship we really ever had with an African-American. Back in 1957, it was separate but equal. But Josephine soon taught us so many lessons about the inequalities of the time instead of the equalities of the time. We met her that first day, and we fell in love with her. And the story on the cover of the book is the first lesson that we learned. Josephine was walking behind us, and we were walking up the street. We were looking over our shoulders, talking to Josephine. And finally, we said, Josephine, come on up here and walk with us. And she said, no, girls, I can't do that. And we said, yes, you can. There's plenty of room between us. And she said, no, girls, I can't do that. I'll get in trouble. And I'm not getting in trouble because of you two rascals. And so we asked, why? Why? It was the first time we realized that there were inequalities in life.
Now, another time Josephine sat down and talked to us, she said, you know, when we walked in front of a white school, we had to walk across the street, walk down the sidewalk, and walk back across. And I said, Josephine, who made up all these crazy old rules?
Really?
That doesn't make sense. And she'd say to us, you know, times are going to change. Times are going to change. Joe's going to be okay. Your grandmother has said to me so many times, good things are going to come to Josephine.
Oh.
And my grandmother loved her dearly. She was so precious. And we walked into the department store and there were 2 water fountains. And we were so naive. And one said white and one said colored. So I ran over to get some colored water. And I said, turned it on, and it was just like what Kat was drinking. I said, Josephine, this fountain's broken. There's not any colored water in here. And she just said, well, just go on over to where your sister is. She couldn't tell us apart. She said, just go on over there and wait in line behind your sister, and they'll get that one fixed. You know, she just was so kind and gentle in the ways that she said and taught us what was going on. She never pointed a finger. She just told us about her life in stories.
You know, back then the phrase pay it forward was not even coined. And as we look back on 1957 and that 1 week stay, we see how Josephine paid forward to 2 little 9-year-old white girls life lessons and how you treat people with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And as we look back and we were writing this book, it's to pay her back and to give her the honor that she deserves for helping create 2 people who care about others.
So the sales of all of these books, the profit from every book that we sell of Josephine is going to her to help her build a 2-bedroom house that she wants.
That is so great.
She's still alive, Joe. I hope you don't mind me saying you're 74, but she's 74 years old. When we went to launch our book down in Vicksburg, the name of our book is called Our Josephine because that's what we thought by the end of the week. She was in our hearts. She was
1 week.
1 week. She's precious.
But when we were in Vicksburg, they say, you know, you've kind of got it all wrong. She's our Josephine as well, not just your Josephine. And so we found that this person that we love so dearly had the same reaction for all people. They loved her so much. And she is a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful person. And our mission and our passion in life now is to get this book on the bestsellers list and to hopefully get a movie made of it.
Yeah, hopefully that.
I want the world to get to know Josephine.
And it has been reviewed as To Kill a Mockingbird meets The Help.
Okay.
That's one of the reviews in the book, and that's especially To Kill a Mockingbird to me is just the most wonderful book to be compared to. And that's an honor in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that's great because it's like you are giving Josephine her flowers while she is alive.
That's exactly what she said.
Oh, really?
Yes. Love it.
That is great. And another good thing is, even though y'all met her when you were 9 years old and she was 16, y'all still stayed in touch.
we did stay in touch. She just meant so much to us, and she took 2 little girls under her wing and took her time to sit on the front porch with us and talk to us about her life. And we just fell in love with her.
Well, that is so good.
We honestly just thought we would put one story in which you switch about her. And that story became a book in and of itself for a week in Vicksburg in 1957.
1957.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, when we take a break, we're not going to take one yet, but when we do, you 2 are going to come back rapping. You're going to do one of your rap songs, okay?
Yes, okay.
But before you do that, is there any contact information just in case someone would like to purchase either one of your books, Y'all Twins, Which is Which, and Our Josephine?
Our website is y'alltwins.com, deedspublishing.com, Southern Stories out of Canton, southernstories.com, Amazon, and of course Square Books in Oxford has them. So you can call me at 662-832-7546 and I'll autograph it and send it to you.
Do y'all go out and speak?
Oh, we're entertainers and speakers, after dinner speakers. We love church groups, any kind of women's groups, men's groups. We go talk to men. I mean, we just.
Oh, really? Are y'all received?
Oh,
yes.
Just to hear people laugh, we're on a high.
And it's our intro to selling Josephine's book.
Oh, okay.
So once they laugh at us and they know us, then the book sales skyrocket a little bit. So
Right now your main focus is
it's Josephine.
It's Josephine.
Our passion and mission for 66 years has been about us. Now it's about Josephine.
It's about Josephine.
It's about paying
She's
bills.
precious, and I can't wait for you to have
Yes,
her on.
I want to meet Josephine.
You've got to have Josephine.
she's
Yes,
precious.
she is more than welcome to come on the show.
Well, I've already invited her.
Okay.
And so when y'all's break is over, that's what we'll do. We'll get
Okay,
her
well,
on.
great. Well, we're going to take a break and have you two come back and do your thing.
Okay. Sounds
We'll
great.
be right back.
Are the King Twin Rappers, and this is our Josephine rap. Hit it.
There's a lot of crazy tales in our Josephine. Takes place in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Well, now that's the scene.
We were just 9 years old.
And Joe, she was 16.
But in a week's time, she became our Josephine.
We learned a lot about Josephine's life.
Ours was so different, nothing alike.
She answered our questions when we asked her why.
That's just the way life is, she said with a sigh. Joe taught us many lessons, you know what we mean. She's all about love and patience. That's our Josephine. That's a wrap. Love y'all.